Oh, look at that. Episode 392 of A Squared the Show, international podcast. We got me in LA, Saeed in the UK, and Sandra Succar, the Lebanese world champion, or the world champion in mixed martial arts. How cool is that? Yeah! Pew, pew, pew. Welcome on the show, Sandra.
Thank
What am I
you.
going to say? World champion. You recently won a few weeks ago in the Gamma World Championship, and you emerged as number one in the Netherlands. And let's jump right deep into it. Okay, so um, you had this series of fights in Amsterdam, and you emerged as the winner. And I want to ask you, out of all the fights you had, what was the hardest fight, in your
The
opinion?
final one. The final.
It was versus the girl from Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, exactly. And um, I watched her fights before. She had one fight actually the day before she fought, and she was playing only striking. So all what I can see from her style is the striking one. So I thought she's only a striker, and she was running from when the opponent came to take her down. She was running, turning her back and running as if she doesn't know how to wrestle. So it made me like she's only a striker, and I thought so. And we tried to see if she has other fights, and she deleted everything from
Oh,
social
wow.
media. We couldn't see anything about her, and that's how it happened. And when we fought, I was prepared to fight against a striker in my training the day before the fight, but she surprised me, and it turned out that she was the Netherlands gold medalist in judo and sambo. So it was like a challenge. Yeah, so the ground is her game, as I think. So it was a tough fight, but at the end I won, and I submitted her, and that's how it went.
Let's
I mean,
go.
that's quite an achievement right there, because like you weren't expecting like a ground battle with her, and then you ended up making her tap, and
Yeah,
that's a very difficult thing to do, especially since she's apparently very well experienced in that
yeah.
field. And you've trained on like your striking, or you also actually train on your grappling and your groundwork.
I'm I am originally a Muay Thai fighter.
Hmm.
I fought like 9 fights, and I train BJJ regularly. So I have experience in both of the styles, and I didn't mind like striking or ground or wrestling. I'm good at all, but the thing is, like my focus, my meditation, my full energy was focused on somebody who is playing striking. That's
Yeah.
why my body, like everything, I was putting everything in my mind toward a striking opponent, and then it turned out that no. So it took me some time to realize, no, I should play striking because she's not good enough in striking as much as I am. Perhaps she is good in ground, but more than me. So that made me like, uh, it took me time to fix it in my head and come up with a game plan and beat her.
And could you break down the fight for us, like from the start? How were you able to recognize the pattern switch from like obviously you were ready for someone who's gonna be more to striking, and then she ended up being better at like at the fighting on the ground and judo. How were you able to switch your fighting approach towards her?
In the beginning, I was striking, then taking her down. Um, and then I realized that she's very good at ground, and she flipped me, and she was on top. And I managed to put her in my guard. So there are like 4 positions in which an MMA fighter can win by submitting. It's in guard, side control, back choke, or one more, full mount. So I managed to put her in one of these positions, and it turned out that it is the guard. And I was trying to submit her from the first round. I did the and I tried to submit her from the back, and it didn't work. I tried to give her an arm bar more than once, and it didn't work. And finally, I thought of the triangle, and it worked.
That
Just
sounds painful, to be honest. I wouldn't want to be caught in a
Yeah.
triangle. um, are you? Let me just ask you this question, Sandra. Are you ever afraid of hurting someone when you're, submitting someone?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. I've always had that nightmare that the fighter I'm fighting might die. So it's like every time I have a fight, I dream about it like 5 days before the fight. Every day, I dream about killing someone in the ring, and made me like, I don't want to fight. I'm not a criminal. Then I go into this pattern of, no, it's just a game. I'm playing on the rules, and the opponent is coming to fight me. She's not coming to kill me, and so I can fix it in my head. But yeah, I don't like to hurt my opponent so much, to be honest. If I have the chance to submit and not to hurt a lot, I prefer to submit. However, I should do whatever happen in the moment. But I prefer not to hurt a lot.
um,
so there are points that I've witnessed because where people don't actually submit, even though they're in a losing stance, they're in a losing position, and then you see like a shoulder pop and or just like you put them to sleep and they're just out of it. Has that occurred in one of your fights?
Yeah, I've put like 5 girls down to KO, and I broke somebody's arm from here. I broke it in
Oh.
half. Yeah, so it's something.
I mean, it's something because
I'm not proud of it.
yes, you don't want to hurt people. You're very caring, and or I see that you're more compassionate, and it gives you nightmares that you might hurt someone. So, but you're in a sport of fighting. So why do you fight?
I love it. I feel alive when I fight. Even when I train, I feel the happiest. So I just follow my feeling and what my heart desires. And I go for it. And plus, it gives me a lot of opportunities in life, and I love it.
Oh wow! And do you want to tell us about who introduced you into fighting?
Who what?
Who told you about fighting and got you into fighting? How'd that start?
Yeah, it was my friend. I was 15 years old, and I met someone. His name was Danny, and he saw that I was training boxing, and I am so in love in martial arts. So he told me about MMA, and that there's a lot of opportunities as a woman in Lebanon to be an MMA fighter, and that's how it begins.
Oh wow!
And you said you used to train in boxing first, so why did you switch? Like, why did you say like, okay, maybe I should actually do MMA instead of boxing?
I just wanted to train martial arts. I didn't care if it's boxing or jiu-jitsu or ground or wrestling. I just want to do martial arts. And I
Okay, and
found in MMA the full fighter. I just want to be a full fighter, And I found it in MMA because you learn how to strike, how to kick, how to submit, how to wrestle, and it's the perfect martial art for me.
mhm. And for your style, do you prefer maybe Muay Thai or Judo more?
Both of them. I prefer Muay. I love Muay Thai and BJJ. Also wrestling. I like to wrestle.
The way you're describing your fighting technique and your fighting style, it makes you seem like you're a jack of all trades. And does this also apply to your personality?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I like and I enjoy doing in life, like singing, composing music, playing guitar. Um, uh, reading, writing, designing, drawing. I have a lot of things to do in my life, and I love to do many things. So that gives me a little bit of creativity in fighting also. So I think it's
Oh
the
wow.
personality.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that, the creativity in fighting? Because I mean, all those things you just described, they're very creative pursuits, right? Music and writing and drawing. I mean, those are things you just like you kind of turn off your brain a little bit and have a different kind of brain where you just in imagination and creating and art. And so, how do you apply that in fighting?
I don't um, ما بحط حالي بتكنيك واحدة. Like I don't follow one technique. I create a technique. I roll differently. I That's how I do it. Like it's not just following the technique. The submission I did in the World Championship, it wasn't the classic triangle. It was a triangle plus an armbar, and that's how it is. Like that's how creativity helps me in
Yeah,
fighting.
because when you said
Wow.
that you submitted her in a triangle, and when I saw the clip, I thought it was an armbar, to be honest, at first. And
It
now
was
that you're just,
both.
it was both. Okay, yeah, 'cause like I know only a little bit. Like my information about about the MMA is very minute. Um, but yeah, from what I saw as like my limited knowledge, it looked more like an armbar. But the way you described it is like it's your own technique. That's that's pretty impressive because like
Yeah,
you're showing a
it is.
different side of you.
Yeah, it is. Like it is a technique that I've learned in the gym, but it's
Hmm.
not like not everybody does it because it's something different. Like usually people do one technique. I think, and I don't limit my mind when it comes to fighting, and when I'm fighting or playing jujitsu, I think of many submissions in the same time, and that's how I submit finally.
And do you think you might actually create a technique for yourself that's like off the books?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
do you already have something in mind or
Yeah, I have some techniques like special for me, and I teach them to my teammates.
all right.
Wow.
Do you mind sharing or is that like classified information?
It is classified
Ah,
information.
okay.
Well, it's
We're gonna have to take classes, Ali. We're gonna have to go to
class.
we're gonna have to go to her gym.
Go to the
Yeah.
gym to learn ourselves, right? You know, it was very
Yeah.
interesting to me how like you were saying that your opponent in Amsterdam, she deleted all of her the YouTube videos or like all her fighting styles.
Sneaky
So
move.
very sneaky moves so that you know so that her opponents would be able to know what
Yeah,
she's
it
gonna
is a
do.
smart move.
You think
It
it's
is a
smart?
smart move. Yeah, it is smart. And the way her coaches were coaching her, and the way she was running, she was turning her back and literally running from ground game in her first fight. So it was really smart of her.
Well, it can't be that smart if she ended up being defeated by Sandra Succar. But it's like it's interesting because what do you think? Why would you say it's a smart move to do that?
Because you don't open all your cards. She just opened one card.
I see. And so you
It's a
think
camouflage, the camouflage move, Ali. That's it's actually no, it's a very smart tactic. The military uses it as well, where they show like only like one battalion of their forces while concealing their main forces in the back, which is basically what she kind of did as well.
Yeah,
She hid her actually her strongest ability from her final fight, and
true.
I mean that's good on her. Like, too bad it didn't work out, but like,
okay. So from what I understand, usually if there's a fight, you're gonna research your opponent. You're gonna be like, okay, these are the skills they have, and these are some things they might do to me. In that fight, you didn't have all that knowledge, so you said you resorted to like imagining what she could do, and then you also mentioned like meditation and focus. Do you want to tell us like on the day before a fight, what kind of like mental preparation does it take to before you get into the fight?
Yeah, sure. Um, First of all, I breathe. I meditate. Like I close my eyes and breathe and visualize what will happen in a fight for about 40 minutes.
Oh
This
wow.
is the first
Oof.
step. Yeah. Then I breathe. I take like 40 deep breaths like this. 40 times. Then I take a deep breath like this, and I cut it 3 minutes or more. And if I can endure more than 2 minutes, it means I am mentally ready for it. If I cannot endure more than 1 minute, it means I am really stressed out. So I should do more breathing. I should relax more. I should not overthink. And then at the end, I do some burst breathing like this. It's kind of like regaining all the energy, all the oxygen I've lost.
Right.
And I do it 3 times, the breathing thing,
Hmm.
and that's it. And the whole process, I do it like 3 times before each fight.
You know, it's important that you mentioned the breathing techniques because, especially in fighting, that can be very exhaustive. And if
Yeah,
you don't have a proper breathing technique while you're fighting, you can get gassed out really fast and just you get tired and
yeah.
it can make you lose the
The
fight.
Yeah, you can't imagine how much it is important because even before the fight, because if you're always stressed out and you're always breathing like this, it kills you and you cannot last more than 1 round. That's why before every fighter should breathe in deeply, like and relax his body, even if the mind triggers everything and make him stress out. When you breathe, everything goes down and you calm down, and that's how you get a clear vision how
Mhm.
to fight in your fight.
You know, it's I want to go back a bit to the points of when you're talking about the creative side of your life, where you also do music and you do also meditation. Like, how how important is this for you in your actual fighting, or does it influence it in any way other than the
Yeah,
obviously creating your own techniques?
yeah, it's like 30% of it. It's 30, I give it 30%. 50% goes to training, 30% goes to meditation and breathing techniques, and 20% goes to injuries. Because if you're injured, I had
Yeah.
my toe, this finger was injured in my fight, so I couldn't like hit overhands, and it was bothering me, but it was okay.
Okay. Because like your success actually reminds us of a previous guest that we had on our show. I don't know if you know her. She's also a Lebanese athlete, Nouri Shani. She's uh, she's the first in the karate in Lebanon
Karate. Hmm.
for like 11 years straight. And she also plays
Mhm.
music on the side and like plays the piano as well. And so like the similarities are just like very interesting because I feel like those things go hand in hand, you know, the fighting and the creative side of your life.
Yeah, and it is like it's very important to have different things to do because it makes you like it relaxes you, and if you focus on one thing, especially in fighting, if you only focus on fighting, it's gonna be stressful because there's always injuries, there's always pain, you're always tired, you're always hungry. But if you're doing many things at the same time, it's cool. Like you can,
Wow.
it's cool.
This is like you're a little bit blowing my mind right now because I just thought if you want to be a great fighter, you gotta just fight all the time, right? But you're saying it's 50% fighting, and the other part of it is controlling your own emotions and your own stress. And I mean that's to me I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought it was more time training and fighting. And it's so cool you say that because also another thing, when you say you want to calm down before a fight, I imagine you want to get like amped up before a fight, the opposite, because you're gonna go and it's high energy and you want to fight. But
No.
You're saying you should, be calm, and
Yeah.
how does that work?
If you are, if look, my first fights were like I was on the top and I want to fight. I was getting tired from the first minute, and it was a lot of things going in my mind. So I wasn't focused most of the time. There were many fights that I could have won from the first round, but because I was so stressed out and a lot of things going in my mind, I was not winning from the first round, and sometimes I lost. And since I started like breathing and meditating, I am winning.
Wow. Wow.
I won before, but it's not like when you know what you're going to do, because it's really surprising that okay, I'm training every day, I'm fighting guys every day, but it's really surprising that at certain moment you have to stand in front of an opponent, in front of a lot of people that you don't know. There's
Hmm.
TV on you, there's a lot of people watching you. Everything you do is being watched and is counted. So it's really stressful. However, when you meditate, you visualize that everything every day for the 40 minutes, it becomes easier, and like I get into the fight in a neutral mode. Like I'm not very hyper. I'm not sad. I'm not happy. I'm just in it, and that's makes me focus, see things how it should be seen, and win.
Let's go.
You know, it's it's an interesting point that you're making about the overthinking, and but you're trying to control it through meditation and through breathing techniques, because there are a lot of people out there who obviously overthink, and
Mhm.
to be honest, I'm one of
Yeah.
them. And like sometimes it's just like it makes me anxious, and like I get stressed out and stuff. But when I do meditate as well, it just calms me so much. I
Yeah.
still obviously I will be thinking a lot. I would still be thinking about like all of these different scenarios that could be happening. Sometimes I just have like, negative thoughts, and like I go really deep into them, and it's like it's very bad. Basically, it's called falling into the rabbit hole of
Mhm.
of your dark thoughts. But once you find a way to be able to like control those thoughts instead of like letting them take control of you, it's very liberating. And I can see that happening
Yes.
with the way you do it with your breathing techniques and your meditation. To be honest, I feel like you're a Buddhist at some or like some sort of
No, I'm
spiritual
not. I pray
like
a
a
lot.
fighting monk or something like that, because like you have both worlds combined.
It's like Zen. Yeah, it's
No,
very Zen the
I
way you
pray a
describe
lot.
it. Hmm.
And
I
does that
pray a
help you?
lot.
But
Look, yeah, a lot. It gives me faith, and it gives me confidence that I am going to win. Uh, the praying, and every time I pray, I tell God that if you make me win, I will do this for you. I will help somebody. I will, and eventually, like I do what I promise God, and I win. So
Oh wow,
every time I ask God for it, it happens, and I win. He never failed me.
that's an interesting thing, that how
that's
you're connecting
belief.
Yeah,
your
Yeah.
belief and your
Hmm.
faith to your fights, and how it gives you confidence, because it's like you have an extra support, like some sort
yeah.
of
It's like you
supernatural
have,
support.
yeah, supernatural power.
Wow.
Like, and what kind of confidence, like how does that promote your confidence? Like how do you feel when you have that support?
When I pray, I feel that nothing can harm me. Like I feel that I'm going to win, and nothing will harm me, and it's gonna be okay. And whether I lose or whether I win, God loves me, and nothing changes. Like it's truly important to know that no matter what you do, God will always love you, and He will always be there for you and with you. So this gives me a lot of confidence, and I just do it.
Wow. Um, that's true. True confidence. It reminds me a little bit of. I was reading about how Alexander the Great back in his days. He always used to fight in the front lines, and he always, he was very religious, and he'd have a lot of, he'd be very spiritual and have his own self belief, and he thought he was immortal. After a point, he kept on fighting and fighting and fighting, and no one could stop him. And I see a little bit of that in you, Sandra, and your belief,
Thank you.
and I wanna Sandra the Great, and I wanna ask you a little bit about that mentality of being Zen and stuff is great, and I feel like a lot of people should have that peace within them, and especially living in Lebanon, which we all know is very challenging. Um, but for you, it seems like you're. So when you won, let me ask you. So when you won, you brought up the Lebanese flag and you said, "I'm so proud, and my country's going through a lot, but this is an accomplishment for all of us." Why was it so important for you to bring up Lebanon in the time of your victory?
Because first, I'm representing my country. Second, I'm the only female in the team representing Lebanon. And I felt like when the other teams asked me who's coming with you, I was always saying me and my coach, one man team, and they were laughing, most of them. But I was thinking in my heart, we're gonna change the world. Remember this. And winning and holding Lebanon's flag made me like I just want I did it. Like I was always wanting to do it for Lebanon, because that's what it is about world championships. It's countries competing against each other. So I felt so proud, and I felt this is a win for Lebanon, and that's what I said.
I mean, it is a
Yeah,
win for Lebanon and a win for you. What a great accomplishment, I would say, to be, world champion in MMA. Really, true congrats. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
it's
you.
definitely like you're competing the best again, the best of the best,
Yeah,
and all
the
of them had
national.
exactly, and all of them had teams, and you were going like solo. What?
Yeah.
How did they rank your odds in the throughout the tournament? Like the odds of you winning the whole thing?
A lot of people came to me and said, "Oh, we knew you're gonna win, and you surprised us." And like everybody, everybody from I was like, I was that girl who fixes her hair and put makeup and goes to um, the lounge and the lobby, and I was cool. I didn't look like I'm going to win, and I didn't look like I am that focused. So they were surprised. Oh shit! And I forgot the question.
No, I was mainly asking like, I know what did they rank the odds of you winning? Like, did a lot of did most people think that you were not gonna even like where did they think that you were gonna
No,
place in the tournament?
look. Before the fights, I was training with a lot of teams. Like
Mhm.
instead of resting, I was training with the Australian team. I was training with the Spanish team, and in the training, I was totally a different person. I was winning against champions, and a lot of people were watching me training, and I saw them. There were a lot of people doing like this, just watching me. And people who were watching me how I was training, I think they were sure that I am going to win. uh, However, the people who were watching me in the fights, they were neutral. Like even if you hear the commenter, he was saying, "Calm Beast" to my opponent in the first fight. "Calm Beast, she's gonna win. Calm Beast." And eventually, I won, and he was surprised. So not everybody were thinking that I am going to win, but people who were watching me training, they definitely thought so. However, people who didn't, they misunderestimated me.
So basically, the top dog countries g- they lost to the main underdog in their eyes. That's how it was like a
Yeah,
true underdog story for them.
yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment there, Sandra. I
Thank
mean,
you.
it's like a movie, right? Like maybe one day there's
Yeah,
like a
it is.
documentary or something out of it.
Hopefully.
Thanks. Oh yeah, how cool. I want to ask you a little bit about something a little completely out of the field. So I don't know if you know about this or not, but I want to ask you about do you ever study like the MMA video games? Because I know there's the UFC fighting game. And do you ever study those games in order for your fight, or I don't know if you played them at all? Yeah.
The UFC games.
Yes. The video
I
games.
don't have a PlayStation. I don't have time for this. But I watch fights like every while. I watch fights and I learn from every fight. And if I have something that I am not doing good, or I need to have extra knowledge about something, I just Google it and I see a lot of fighters doing it in UFC fights, and
Mhm.
I learn from them, and that's how, like, I watch fights
All right.
and I
And
learn from fights.
so from you said 50% of it is really in the training and fighting. So part of it is watching fights and learning from them.
Yeah, yeah.
What's another like recommendation you can say on like how do you get in a great physical shape in order to win these fights? Is it discipline or is it like motivation? What is it that you have going on for you?
There are many things. Physically,
Hmm.
you're asking me physically.
Yeah.
I think every fighter should do weightlifting
Hmm.
and conditioning, agility training, speed, swimming, doing a lot of sprints and running. Uh, these things should be done, and other things. I think sleeping well, eating good, eating healthy, not smoking, not drinking, uh, basically being on a good diet, healthy diet, and constantly training. Like I train every day 5 to 4 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
That's intense workouts right there. You know, it's like Arnold's work ethic.
yeah.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
It
And
is. It is hard, but I don't think I just do it.
So you mentioned that you watch UFC games. Like, who are some of the fighters that you base your style on? 'Cause I feel like maybe you would actually watch Israel Adesanya, maybe, because like he's a bit of a
Yeah.
style bender himself.
I don't base my style on somebody, but I learn from everybody. Uh, s- However, I can say that my favorite fighters are Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, Rose Namajunas, uh, basically
Have you ever?
these
You don't
ones.
watch any of Khabib's fights because like he's like in wrestling and judo. Like, I feel like that's
Yeah,
something
I
you should
watch. I watch. Honestly, I barely watch his fights. I'm not a big fan.
that's funny.
I really am not a big fan. I like McGregor style.
Nice.
his so you learn your strike.
Yeah,
So you like to watch his striking stance and like his style from there.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like the Gregor style.
Are you? By the way, I didn't actually check, but are you an Orthodox or Southpaw?
I can play both, but like I'm better when my right hand is in the back because I can put people down.
It's like I'm just lining up this punch for you. هيدي خلص جاي لعندك هلا.
أيوة. جاهزة
um,
بتدلع جاهزة.
and I know we're running a little bit out of time, so I do want to ask you. So after you won and became victorious, what was um like your mindset then? Did you? I know you're very disciplined in your diet and work ethic. Did you take a break? Did you celebrate?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I ate a lot. I ate everything. I was because I was starving for 3 months before, and I was starving a lot for a month before the fight. So I was like having brownies as breakfast, then knefe as a brunch, then
Ooh.
pizza as lunch, then chocolates and junk food in the middle, then having burgers at night. But now I'm tired. I'm just getting back to the healthy diet,
Nice.
and I drank.
Hey,
I drank a
celebrate.
lot. I did.
I mean, yeah, it's
I
like
did.
you're the world champion, so like
Yeah.
you get that break. فيك يلا ترتاحي
Yeah.
شوية. It's just like, enjoy your time, obviously.
Yeah, but I didn't party a lot because my schedule was full. Like I was always having interviews 8 a.m. and then podcasts or another interviews the whole day. And sometimes I finished like 11 p.m. So I don't have time to party.
Oh my
I
God.
I couldn't party as I wanted to party, but it's fine. It's fine.
You should have told all those interviewers like, just come back to me in like 3 months. I'm the famous
Yeah.
I'm the famous one now. You can don't worry, you'll still have a story. It's like relax.
Yeah, Allah.
How cool. And Said, is there something else you want to ask before we send it?
No, I just wanted to go back to the point where you said about learning from the UFC game. I actually remember
Yeah.
I watched an interview where Max Holloway said himself that sometimes he learns techniques from the game when he's playing.
The video game?
Yeah, the video game. And then whenever he sees something, and if it seems like something he could use, he discusses it with his coach, and then they practice it, and then he actually uses it in some of his fights. Like Max Holloway is like one of the best fighters in his weight.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's very good. Um, I think I should play UFC game.
Maybe, yeah.
I think I should have time for this.
Hey.
Working on your full mounts and your half guards.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
and yeah, let me say, Sandra, so world champion. And so what's next for you?
now I will want to play professional MMA fights, and then when I have this 7-0 record or 6-0 record, I want to apply on UFC, and hopefully I'll play there. And next step is winning the belt.
The first, you'd be the first Lebanese woman in the UFC, right? Is
Yeah.
I don't think actually not only Lebanese
No,
woman,
there
Lebanese
is.
fighter.
Yeah, there is Lebanese fighters. There is two, but they have like Australian or German nationality with the Lebanese
No, they're fake. They're
nationality.
fake. We want
Yeah,
we want
no, they're
the
not fake.
original.
I will be the original. I will be the first Lebanese from Lebanon and the first female in the UFC. So,
Well, until that happens, the best of luck, Sandra, and
thank you.
you're the future for the for the UFC. I can see it. It's happening. Don't worry.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you so much for this for coming on this podcast. I mean, how cool is it to meet you? And we're rooting for you, honestly. Best of luck for you, and hope to follow your career and see where you're at in a few years.
Thank you.
Let's go!
See you again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're on A Squared the show. All right,
Let's
it's
do
time we can wrap it up now. Thanks, Saeed, so much for coming on the show again. Sandra, thank you so much. World
Thank
champion,
you,
straight
guys.
out of Lebanon. How cool is it? Legendary, I'll say. And me, international.
And me.
This is how we sign out. It's a salute to cover the crime. Thank you so much. Adios, amigos. Woo.